Good afternoon, Seth at Houghton Lodge. I've sneaked right up on a fish that's rising. It's my luck now that once again, because I've got the camera on him, he won't want to show his face. But he's just out there, about 4 foot from the bank. The wind's directly in my face, so everything that's floating down the river at the moment, or a lot of it, is coming straight at me. It's been blown to my side of the river, which is all the food, mind all the fluff as well, to be fair, but there he is. It's coming more or less down my side of the river. There's a steady flow of fly life on the surface. You can just see some of the little ripples off it there. Some of those are emerging flies, emerging olives, I think. The wind is blowing straight in my face. The far side of the river's got quite a bit of ripple on it, but this side just in a bit of a lean, a bit of a sheltered spot. And this fish has chosen this place where he can see quite clearly everything that's going on. There he was, just under the surface for that one. I think that was probably an emerger that he took there. As he's coming to a nice sheltered spot where he can see everything round him, about 3 foot from the bank, 4 foot from the bank. I've been really careful to keep my shadow off the water because the sun is behind me at the moment, so I don't spook him in any way. I'm nice and quiet as I've crept up behind him. So he's quite freely rising there, quite happy. Not aware of any danger to him at the moment. If I was to stand up, that would be it. He would probably see me and disappear off into the middle of the river. Let's see if he'll come up again. He's quite happily sat there, just under the surface, about 8 to 10 inches down in the river. There he is. 8 to 10 inches down, just so we can see what's going on. About 4 foot from the bank, so you don't have to cast a long way. Then most of the fish most of your castable fish will be in the first sort of third of this river. Nice and steady at this point. You shouldn't get a lot of drag on the fly because you'll be casting from 10 yards or so downstream. He's there feeding away quite happily. Doesn't even know I'm here at the moment. I think he's taking, when he's just under the surface, you see his fin come out like there. That's him taking an emerging fly, one that's just not quite got to the top of the water yet. But when you see him come right out of the water, he's taking the fully fledged fly that's got out to dry itself off on top of the water. So maybe for that fish, blue-winged olive, emerger, and if it did happen to sink by an inch, if you weren't catching him on a complete dry fly, make it nice and wet and just let it go under the surface by an inch or two and see if you can get him on that just slightly underwater emerging fly. At that point I would leave just an inch or two of my floating line, take the floating off that so that the fly will just sink a bit. And just see if there's an olive coming down. And just see if you can get him to take a fly that's just under the water. You sometimes see them just the fin coming out, that's what they're doing. There you go, there's fish on the lower bait. Quite there he was, look at that, just at the end. Happily rising. Thank you.